Well, welcome back to imtbtrails. We are doing a request ride today from Gordon in Trinidad out in the Caribbean. He is getting ready to do some racing out here in northwest Arkansas, and so he said, hey, what's the trails like? Well, that's something I've always promised, is that if you want me to go ride something, I will go ride it. So I've already done this once today, trying to figure it out. I finally figured out how the loop is going, I believe. And so we are at the starting line, relatively speaking. This is the start and finish. The finish is right there to the left. You come across the bridge, come across here. I don't know how many laps. If it's laps, then you're gonna go back up this road. But basically you're starting right here and taking off on a 2.2 mile loop. Had a hard time figuring out where this tied into when it comes to Fayetteville Traverse, but I got it figured out now. And so here we go. This is going to be a burner of a start. The reason for that is that once you hit the single track, it's extremely difficult to pass somebody, especially with a single back track that's coming up. So pole position is really going to be key. There is a section at the end of the race, right before the bridge, fully flat down, flat and downhill, so that will give you the opportunity to be able to pass people if you have a chance. But we're going to make a right through this yellow gate, and then another right here, and jump on Fayetteville Traverse. And if you're not in a good spot, you'll be sitting in that spot right here for quite a while, unless you got some loonies that are going to try to pass you. But I would say that for the most part, this is a flowy race, flowy trail. Lots of trees. In my pre-ride of figuring this loop out, and I almost smacked one towards the end. You'll see why. A lot of pump, toning at the pedal. There's so many pumps. But now this is Fayetteville Traverse. Pretty flat. It starts climbing once we cross the road again. But most of those serpentines, switchbacks, are just to get you a little bit of elevation, and it goes back to flat again. So thanks for the request on this, Gordon. I would kind of like to come out and see the race and actually meet you if I had a chance. But this is pretty fast. I'm in a fairly large gear. I am on my full suspension bike. I decided, because there's some chunkier stuff I want to get today. But this would be a small suspension bike, cross-country bike. Little climb here. Now we're going to cross the road again. Kind of officially go into Mount Kessler Mountain Bike Park. We're going to do some climbing now, mostly in switchbacks. You can hear me start breathing heavy. Continuing to gradually climb. Now I raced back to the 90s. Was sponsored by Proflex. One of the questions was tires. Back then I used something called an Anza Porcupine. That'll date me, right? We got those by the caseload. Today, I am an absolute fan of Maxxis Recons. They seem to fit the bill for most everything out here for me. I know a lot of people run a lot more aggressive tires. But I gotta be honest with you, I just haven't really seen the need. The main thing for me is Recons really have an excellent roll to them. Very low roll resistance. And even though I run tubeless, I still run 30 PSI front and rear. I got caught up in that old adage of, well, you can run low pressure now, 18, 22, and I did. But what I noticed was off of jumps, tabletops, corners, the tires would roll, flex, G-outs. And my buddy engineer, Foddy, said, dude, run something where your tires are gonna stay consistent. And I asked him what he runs. He said 30 PSI. So, if a guy's faster than you, do what they do until you find something better. And I gotta be honest, my roll speed is up. My cornering consistency got better. And slamming into the pocket of a tabletop or a jump, I don't feel like I'm hitting like a soft pillow. I firmed up my suspension quite a bit by using shockwaves on the front and rear. And I was just running fluffy pillows. In fact, I used to call my bike Fluffy because it was so fluffy. And for California chutter, where everything had a speed brake, braking bumps in the corners because that people don't know how to ride bikes, it was good for that. And we would ride these, gosh, 6, 7, 8 mile single tracks where you just got tired. Believe it or not, you actually got tired of going downhill in crazy chunk. And my fluffy bike would eat all that stuff up and help me to stay fresh. Arkansas is a completely different ballgame. It is a sawtooth of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So running the higher pressure in my tires gives me a better roll. It's faster. Pedaling becomes easier. Hitting the chunk is more consistent. All right, enough said. Enough said. So I've been continually climbing, mostly in the switchbacks. I know most people don't like to wear a camelback when they race. All right, here's something important. You come up on a post. It says Crazy Mary straight ahead, Terrapin Station left. You're gonna make a hard left. You're gonna go into a cobblestone right. Stay slightly to the left. Cut into the rocks. your way back and go to the left. Because going to the right would take you on Terrapin Station, and they got you riding last call. So last call, for the most part, is descent. It does have a few climbs in it. It's quite a bit more chunky. Very rooty. I just get my way back and let it fly. Try to stay in the flag zone as much as I can. We're on last call. Here's a little rooty climb. Try to stay in a bigger gear and just power through it with some speed. Momentum is the key on this section. I'm certainly going nowhere near race pace. I always recommend, if you do have the opportunity to pre-ride the trail, it's huge. Because you got to remember, you're going to go up against locals that have this absolutely dialed. Because these are all just trails that people ride every day. Okay, we're gonna be coming up on saddle up here pretty quick, and you're gonna veer to the right. I'm a big proponent of riding on smaller suspension bikes for cross country. ProFlex was so far ahead of its time, but of course they don't compare to modern bikes today, that's for sure. Got a wide right, slight climb. Still on last call. All right, coming up on the side. You're gonna go straight on through, right on the right. It's gonna be a little bit downhill. You can go fast, but be careful. Go right on saddle up. I just turned on saddle up. It's going to have a really hard left back onto Last call up ahead. A lot of guys are going to miss that turn, so you want to be prepared for it. Don't ride with hesitancy. Give it all you got. I don't know how many laps you're doing, but it's going to be a hairpin to the left. You'll know it because there'll be an opening in the trees ahead of it. I can see last call below me now, to the left. And here it comes. Look at this closely. Right now there's an orange net there. Hard left. This is fast, and be careful because there's trees right on the outside of the corners, because this is a great pump track right here. You get a lot of speed without even pedaling. I almost hit this tree right here. This is fast. This is super fun. I think you have to make a right here, and then a hard left on this gravel. And this is going to be a spot where you can pass people if they're tired, because you're going to go right back to the finish line right here. And it's going to bottleneck onto a bridge right ahead. You can see it now. Single track, loose scree, be careful. Loose scree, and I assume finish line. And that's the 2.2 miles. Whew, all right. There I did. I said all right. I always say all right in every video. You should count them and tell me how many. If you have a trail that you want Mikie to ride out in Northwest Arkansas, and I haven't already ridden it, send me a note like Gordon did. He's flying out from the Caribbean to do this race and a couple other races of the States. Well, Gordon, thanks for reaching out to me. Clear from Trinidad in the Caribbean. That blows my mind. And I hope that I helped you out with the pre-ride for the Kessler Mountain Jam for 2024. It's a rolling trail, very little tech. And so as you can see from the video footage, I hope they gave you everything you needed. So all I can encourage you is to keep the rubber side down and enjoy your journey. Take care. I may have already taken a wrong turn. Trailhead. Let's look. I think I already missed it. Okay, we're gonna backtrack. This was supposed to just jump right on earlier, Les. This is Traverse 007, I think. But I don't see where you can get on here from the road. Fayetteville Traverse Greenway. All right, we're trying to figure this out. Now it's turned into a documentary. Man, I can't help but think we're going the wrong direction. Now I'm totally confused.